Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. Today is Tuesday. It's getting pretty late in April. Of course, if you're a Canadian, got to file your taxes and pay your taxes by the end of the month here. If you're in the States, if I'm not mistaken, I think they delayed the filing till the second week of May. So a little bit more of a window. But I do see that it almost feels like the market wants to set up for some sort of catalyst around that date. So I'm not really too enthusiastic right now. Although, don't fight the market. Don't fight the Fed. The Fed's basically said we want higher prices. And I see a lot of sort of the themes that were established over the past maybe couple months are just slowly re-exerting themselves. And actually, one name that we had today was along the lines of those. What the hell do you call that term again? I don't want to swear, but I think it's like a spic or a spac or something like that. Kevin, what did you call that again?
A SPAC?
SPAC? Is that it?
Special Purpose
SPE?
Acquisition Corp.
Well, there you go. Special Purpose Acquisition Corp. Now I've been schooled. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Which I think is a really interesting idea. I mean, I was ready to pull the trigger. It's the cool part about it is it's right. The buy setup has fired. It's just the actual buy signal has not fired. So we all just sitting there waiting. Okay, who's going to step up and break this thing out? And then as soon as it's broken out, we'll all go piling in. But we don't want to be the first person to break it out. But it's just interesting that kind of name, and think themes recently. Mr. Biden has made it very clear that he wants to raise taxes in the United States. So things like special purpose acquisition corporations, which are nothing more than just sort of offshore venues to vend deals into, and maybe even have them be LLCs and things like that are completely tax free in the states, based out of Bermuda and all that. I wouldn't be surprised if we go back into that kind of world. I remember when Bermuda was super popular as a tax haven. In fact, actually, Joe Biden, he is from Delaware, and one of the big sort of selling features of Delaware was they reduced their corporate tax rates down in the states. So a lot of companies actually they file for incorporation out of Delaware, specifically because of tax reasons. So ironically enough, he knows exactly what's going to happen here. Anyway, lots going on in the market, and also Tuesdays we have our battle stations report, which is our day trading futures day trading room with Daniele and Kiran and Grim. Kevin was even in there this morning, trading like a badass. I was in there. I threw on a bot setup, and we'll see how that goes through the day. So Kiran comes on Tuesdays on the Daily Brief and sort of gives us a battle stations report update and sort of updates the community on what his view is. Sort of out of he follows ES and gold very closely, so spat out a bunch of cool levels and ideas to the community. And also too, he follows crypto very closely, so he had some interesting levels that correspond basically with my thinking on the corn. So great daily brief today. And of course, we do have that 30-day trial. So if you want to come in and sort of see what life looks like on the inside of TRI, before having to spend any money at all, just to see whether we're actually we do what we say. And the inside of TRI looks the same and sounds the same as these free videos that I do for you out in the public. Feel free. And also, too, we are reviewing the screeners. This whole sort of setup, invaluable. And really, I would actually argue we might even get to the point where these actually become really cool sort of industry standard tools. It's going to take some time for me to show you and demonstrate, but this breadth indicator to me is just absolutely invaluable. And as sort of a leading indicator in the in the risk space, crypto itself is actually showing signs that it's trying to turn. Kind of like that SPAC trade I told you about there earlier. Can't you can't push a chain. You can't force the issue. So we as traders, we want to, of course, see these W's come in, fire the signals, see the Brent fast moving averages start to W out, turn back up. But we have now the backdrop that if this thing really is a bull, just show us some buying, show us some actual buyers showing up and buying. We'll start getting super bullish again. But right now, we're kind of in just cool your jets kind of mode. Not really overly aggressively bullish, but at the same time, too, prices are starting in some assets, prices are starting to come down into very attractive areas again. And as traders, we got to step up and pull the trigger when said things happen. Tonight at TRI, Tuesday evenings, we have our secret options formula meeting. Which is really nothing more than our sort of our OG option traders get together on Tuesday evenings. Zach is sort of the quarterback of that, and he runs a value stock picking newsletter. And if I'm really lucky, I can get him to the point of being a level 3 instructor. Fingers crossed. We'll see how that progresses over time. But Kevin actually is an integral part of that meeting as well. And he comes on the daily briefs on Wednesdays and gives sort of a summary update of any new findings that we have out of that meeting. So we've got that coming up tonight. And actually, there were even a few option ideas that we were kicking around already, getting ready for the meeting. So yesterday, Mondays, we have Sjord come on the daily brief, and he sort of talks a little bit about how to use this system that he's built and signaling systems and all that kind of stuff. And I got to say, I was so impressed through the daily brief. I don't happen to have it right here in front of me, but we had a great little buy signal come in on, I think I showed you on the weekend, like waves, man. We had cool buy signals there. I was showing that on the system to the kids today. But actually, some of the marijuana stocks actually started to show some strength. So we actually stepped in and through the presentation yesterday, Sjord showed us step by step how to use the system, and it spat up a buy signal on ACB. The irony of it all is the buy level is at 1042. And I threw the order in yesterday, and I still haven't gotten a fill. These bastards, they just won't bring it back down to the breakout level, bastards. So you can see I got my bid working. But man, it was so cool. Like the system just simply wants to identify assets that are in a good trade location, assets that, momentum-wise, the internals are actually saying, this asset is a lot stronger than what price is leading you to believe. And then we have crazy little things like W's, down, up, down, breakout, nice reversals to frame the risk on the trade. And also too, from our Wookie OG, Grim, he was telling us that, well, he was doing TRI, secret option formula trade setups on the pod stocks. And this one jumped out at him. Right? And this is another pod stock, right? And turns out that you can buy some calls here going all the way out into next year pretty darn cheaply. And if we get 50% retracements, boy, very profitable. So lots of stuff in the hopper, but this is sort of a very special situation. I mean, that does not look like it's ripping higher here today. And you can see even the SPOOs right now, they're just sort of parked there. Keep in mind, too, we also have FOMC meeting coming up here. So to a certain degree, it kind of makes sense that market's sort of parked right now. Oh, boy, look at the bonds really coming off here. Actually, it's interesting because I noticed out of the corner of my eye when I was talking to the community today about the breadth, I did notice, and this is the cool application of this awesome engine that Sjord has built. I just noticed out of the corner of my eye here. Look at the Dow Utilities has already issued a sell signal, and the bond breadth is actually broke down about a week or two ago. So I was a bit surprised by that. It probably also means that that gold trade is probably a little bit old in the tooth. And I think I mentioned it yesterday. I might have, maybe I didn't, but I did talk in the community. I was super bullish about the gold stocks, but they all went zooming up like just instantly. So as a result, now I got to sort of look at this and go, oh man, now it seems like I was way too far, way too fast. And probably if I do want to get bullish on gold, I got to see some sort of turn in here. I wouldn't be surprised coming on the other side of FOMC. We have some fireworks here. Just be prepared. So FOMC tomorrow, probably a lot of what you're seeing in the market today is sort of just on hold, consolidating, cleaning up. We also have some big tech earnings out today, tomorrow. I think Tesla came out. Interesting, Tesla beat, and yet the stock's coming off. And my conjecture was it's probably actually being really influenced by all that silly crypto participation that he's gotten himself involved in. But we have like Microsoft and Google coming out. Those will be pretty big market moving news events. I think there's a few others that are coming out that are pretty big as well. So it's going to be a bit choppy here. Nothing really clear direction wise. Your report, I guess the simple summary would be something along the lines of US dollars back down into reload zone. So if the stock market and risk did want to top out, well, they got the green light. Risk itself, man, not really. I mean, nosebleed, very expensive. Did issue a new buy, and we had Russell 2000 breaking out and stuff, but oh boy, I don't like the look of this. Breadth, not overly positive. You can see, like, small cap market, that's not a bull market. That's sort of a, all right, they're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Oh, maybe they're not. All right, big, what we call dead cat bounce. And right, kind of same thing on the shit coins. Throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Oh, maybe not. Right, and sort of 3-day reversal. Woohoo, we're in a bull market. Well, maybe not. Same thing with Bitcoin. Right? And Kiran was sort of telling us, and I really liked how his sort of futures look corresponded nicely with my look. He's thinking, this is an important level. If we're a bull here, we got to come up, consolidate, and then break out. And of course, you look at that and go, gee whiz, that's a big inverted head and shoulders. And what a surprise, we're probably heading up into here. But that's putting the cart before the horse a little bit right now. We got the Fed coming up tomorrow. I mean, who knows what the hell they're going to do. We also have this funny profile. Remember, we had said when we were rallying up here that this all needs to be filled in. You can see over the past day or so, they are filling this in aggressively. But there could be still some back and forth, right? Look how low this low was here. That's all the way down to here. What a surprise. Fill in the profile. So this actually looks exactly like that. And I really like the whole idea of crypto as that sort of leading indicator in the risk space. And this, like I said, this is an invaluable tool. Do we actually, on Bitcoin, for example, do we rally up? Do we consolidate? And then do we break out? And, this thing turns back up. The whole space is happy again, and away we go. I think we're just a little bit early. And with the Fed coming up here, let's not put the cart before the horse. You got to let this thing break out first. I think I put a tweet out saying things like, we're really close. All we need is just somebody's got to give this thing a push, and you'd like to see the push on volume. Maybe it's going to be just absolutely blowout earnings numbers from the boys. Maybe it's going to be like Fed says, you know what, here's a whole bunch more free money. We want higher prices. Who knows? But don't put the cart before the horse. Let it break out first. And of course, maybe it'd be a good idea to sign up for the site and get this in your email so you see this without having to wait for Brian to squawk at you. And of course, remember, I'm not going to be talking about this every day. So, I think there's probably value in subscribing to this kind of stuff. So anyway, it's up to you. So dead cat bounce has done its bounce. We've rallied into resistance. Now what? Well, with the Fed coming out here, I might just, tread carefully. The altcoins, this is a good example of a name that's not really American. It's more Russian. And ironically enough, if they can get their act together and sort of provide an alternative, Mr. Putin might come along and say, we deem you the crypto of Russia. And this thing goes absolutely fucking insane. Don't be shocked. I've seen this kind of stuff happen before. So this obviously isn't a very good chart to use. But, I know, for example, Kevin is long a bit of this, and he kind of likes this story, right, Kevin? I'll let him talk about it, I suppose, someday. Do we ever let you talk to the public? You should get a public show going, man. Anyway, no comment? I don't know. Maybe he's not even here. I don't know. You can see coming up there he is. Yeah, you only talk about waves. I'd like to see a W on the other side of this trend line to really believe this thing's breaking up for reals. This is versus Bitcoin, of course. I mean, who knows? Bitcoin maybe, Mr. Wu says Bitcoin's going up to 300 G's, right? So I don't know whether I'm going to take a bet against Bitcoin right now. But, there is the Kraken chart. I suppose we could probably do things like good old Feigenbaum's off of this consolidation there to there. Let's see where this takes us. Boom. All right. Well, so we've bumped up into 877s. Looks like we're resolving through the top there. So if anything, next stop is, what is it? 16.88, the Julian bomb level. So next stop looks like it's about 31. What does that say? 23.37. We're coming up into that level. Probably going to get some back and forth like you saw here. Also, too, I suppose if that hits on that Fed announcement, then we have some wranglings like this or like this or like this. Well, that wouldn't be a big surprise. Can I come in on the buy side and buy something like that right there? No, can't touch it. So, not really a hell of a lot new to chat about here with crypto. Still kind of just feels like early stages, dead cat bounce. Let's see whether this thing's really a bull or not. If we look at the shit perp, same sort of thing. Interesting how the initial dump there, right out of the gate, bang, didn't quite hit 61.8. That's a bit of a surprise. I would have thought it would have. And if anything, kind of what I like is like boom, 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 boom. So maybe go take this high out. And then there to there. We're thinking maybe come back down, do a nice little Wyckoff check. Then where is that? That's there. So yeah, we could have a rally all the way back up top here. Wash these stops, right? Then we went after the stops, that kind of stuff, and then a dump down into here. And believe it or not, I like the dump day to be around this U.S. Tax filing deadline day. Where the hell's that? Yeah, somewhere in here. So, and I've often said, right, Bitcoin doesn't usually have a very good birthday for Brian. So I actually do like the idea, counter trend rally into Fed, and then we start working our way down for that ultimate correction. And I do like this. End of May, beginning of June, probably through the better part of June, crypto really forms its sort of bottom for the summer pump. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Boring. So there's your market. Not really that, like I said, much new information here for you. Internals are trying to clean themselves up. I don't know whether I really believe it or not. These are V bottoms. They really should be tested. Got Fed tomorrow. So could we have, usually what ends up happening, I told you before, Tuesday, Wednesday, London kill zones. That's usually when pivots come in the market. Considering today's Tuesday, Fed tomorrow, Wednesday, then, that turns out to be, if that is a top, then the market waffles, and then it breaks following the Fed, and then we go into the weekend sort of sanguine. That wouldn't surprise me as well. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Don't know if I really gave you anything new to chew on, other than really, ironically enough, it's kind of a big hurry up and do nothing day with a few specialty situations. And if you happen to have a bit of money sitting on the sidelines and you'd like to put it to work, a couple sort of cheap names that we're kicking around right now. Okay, I think I'll leave the report at that. Have yourselves an awesome rest of your day. All the best. If Kevin, you could take us out of here, I'd appreciate it. The only thing left for Brian to say is a big bye for